Hi there, welcome to your immediate Gersnet Podcast reaction here. Rangers 1, Ajax 3. It's just good to be in, that's it, it's not done it.
I was always about the domestic situation this season anyway, Colin.
Yeah, I know, the Champions League.
I know, it's almost as if the Champions League has got harder in the last 12 years and we've been away and have been through some sort of kind of infrastructural cataclysm since we were last involved. It's a hard old tournament, it's a hard school, but we've been involved, we've got our toes wet, and hopefully we can come back next season and do a lot better.
See what it does. I also think, I think there's a bit of context needs to be added here. I think the group
So much
was tough. Okay, there's been disappointing performances, okay, there's no doubt about that. I think Ajax in the first game was really poor.
Yep.
I think obviously the last sort of 15-20 minutes of the Liverpool game here was really poor. But I was sort of, we were saying as we were coming round there, I genuinely think we could have played so much better in this tournament, yet still found ourselves on the same amount of points.
Oh, you still lose every game if you perform even better. And I think the thing that's really made itself really apparent, Colin, as well, I think we talk about it out of context and in the abstract. You know, last season everybody was saying, I'd rather be in the Europa League because we're getting hammered all the time in the Champions League. And it's like, I think when it's actually happening, people lose all context. You know, the actual reality of seeing it happening. But nothing's really changed to that opinion for last season as far as I'm concerned. It's all we kind of borne out by what's happened here. And the thing is, as I keep saying, we've been away for so long. We come back in, the Champions League is getting even better, even more ruthless in the time we've been away. But the kind of go-to example was Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain have both had more money thrown at them than any other clubs in the world. And they've both managed one losing final each, in the last decade that they've had all this amount of money. So you drop that down to our level, this is what's going to happen. The Champions League, even basically last season and all the seasons before that, it would start in mid-September. And it would be the first week in December before it was over. And it's been compressed because we're trying to squeeze in this World Cup at Christmas. So a club with Rangers kind of infrastructural problems, or it's basically getting themselves going again after having happened in 2012. For us to go into it at this, basically, was it 6 games in 8 weeks or something? And that's straight on top of the 4 unbelievably difficult games we had to get into the Champions League in the space of 4 months. 4 successive midweeks. Union Saint-Gilloise, PSV, and we see how they're doing in the Europa League. Two quality clubs. There was no gimmies at all. And Rangers have basically played 10 relentlessly tough games on the bounce. Maybe like a 2 weeks off, 2 midweeks off in between. So we're not going to say, we know what Rangers standards are. We're not going to say we're proud of this, but I am not in any way as appalled as I should be. We would have to take some hard medicine. It's really tough games, but we had to get back in sometime, and it was always going to be tough. And it's all about now just taking it to the chin, moving on next season.
Next one. I also think I had a serious altercation with a fan behind me tonight. I went to and this boy started going off his now. I was like, look at the team that we've got out tonight. Look at the players that are unavailable for selection. Now again, I'm not defending some of the performances this season. I do think Rangers could have performed better in this group. There's no doubt about that. I also think you're talking about Liverpool, Napoli, and even Ajax. You know what I mean? They spent 100 million in the summer. It's a tough group, a really tough group.
Ajax top seeds.
Yeah, and I know we could have performed better, and I know there's things you can look at and say that's not good enough, but I'll come back to the fact that Rangers could have played a lot better in this group and still been in this situation. So yeah, things could improve, things could have been better, but also something I need to come in. George Lucas is telling me I'm out of shot here. Also, I think some context needs to be applied, and really, what really pissed me off tonight was the reaction of certain people in the crowd. As I said, the boy behind me went off his nut at 2-0. When the third goal went in, that was ruled out by VAR, loads of people around about us started leaving. They left thinking it was 3-0. You know what I mean? And then they get back home and it's 2-1. You know what I mean? And it's just like, this team got us a European final last year. This manager got us a European final last year. I know it's tough. I know it's hard to take, and I know it's the medicine has been fucking bitter, and you've got to take it. Like, fucking at least try and get behind them, especially when you've got an 18-year-old centre half, a 20-year-old centre half, you've got two 30 plus year olds in the middle of the park.
That's not happening for no reason. This is what I'm talking about. Like, we're Rangers supporters, we like to see the team winning, but we're not used to this level of defeat, consistent defeat in one competition. Although again, that's a slight rewrite in the history. We've never gone through a Champions League group without winning a game. Without picking up points, we have gone through Champions League groups without winning a game. We've picked up points here and there. We've never won more than 2 games in any Champions League group we've played in, and that is part of. I'm saying take it in the chin, and this is, you're not going to sit there and cheer them off the park, when they beat 7-1 at Liverpool. But I think a lot of fans, their reaction, their immediate kind of gut reaction is fucking raging. So that they're going to take it out. It's maybe you don't want to get to the point. They take it out the team. You don't want to get to the point when it's actually putting us backwards in terms of the league campaign. So it's good. There was a few years hung about at the end to clap them off the park and let them know we appreciate the situation. But that thing I'm talking about, the relentless week after week after week in a relentlessly merciless tournament. What then happens is you get injuries. We've already got a few injuries, maybe have normally anyway, at the beginning of the season. But now, as it goes on week after week, you're having to put an 18-year-old into centre half, playing Champions League when he shouldn't even be playing First League, SPFL Premiership, First Team SPFL Premiership football. He's having to play against Napoli, Liverpool, and then Ajax tonight. You've got 2 guys like Tillman and Sands are on loan. We're still, the jury's out about them and that. I think that the 2 of them will come on to be great Rangers players. I think it has to come a point where we're desperate to hold on to. We're wondering if we can keep Tillman. By the way,
Tillman, I was actually sitting tonight thinking, you know what, if we can get a team around him, just to give him the platform to play. And I know people criticise his work rate in terms of tackling back and all the rest of it. I don't really think that's his game. I genuinely look at that boy and think, you know what, if we can put the players in the team that gives him the platform to go on and do what he can do, with that confidence, I think there's a player there, I really do.
Even Emma Dodds called him out for his body language at half time in Naples. I actually thought it was a bit gallows humour. I thought it was quite funny, just as Ali was talking about lack of effort in Naples, which I thought was a bit harsh. As they're coming down the tunnel for the second half, she focused on Malik. She's like, even body language can tell you a lot about, because he looks kind of, he's lackadaisical. But the game against Motherwell, the first part of the previous week, he come down the tunnel at half time, exactly the same way, and then went and scored an absolute world, beating everybody in the park. It's just the way the guy plays. It's just, he's set up for skill, he's not running about like a headless chicken. I think it's what's happening is the injuries we're getting, we're not getting a chance to go over them, and we're having to throw these guys, and end up being, I think the case in point is Connor Goldson, who a guy who freaks us out, the idea of him coming off the park before full time. He's just Mr. Consistency to an absolutely superhuman level. The Champions League even did for him. And we then lose 6 goals after he goes off the park. I'm not saying it's all about Connor Goldson, but that's the kind of stuff that happens. It's when if anything goes wrong for you at all in these games, it is utterly brutal, it is merciless. And that's what I mean. Suck up the medicine. Let's not get on the team's back, let's not get on the club's back. And just yet it dripped into domestic performances in a good way on Saturday there. That's only one swallow doesn't make a summer and all that. But let's see what happens in the few games we've got left before the end of the season. The domestic games we've got left before the World Cup, and before we start going absolutely mental. We had to get back into the Champions League at some stage. We wanted it so badly. We thought we knew it was going to happen, and it did happen. And there's just a bit of kind of an inability to deal with it actually happening in reality. You know what I mean? But I think we need to screw the nut now, and we'll see what happens next few domestic games.
So I think we're both in agreement, whether some of the viewers agree or not, that we're prepared to, defend the team. In terms of some of their performances this season, and not be too hard on them. Should we be more critical of the board, given that when we got into the Champions League, they didn't? I think we all expected a couple of ins. Once they secured Champions League, I think we all expected at least maybe 1 or 2 coming in to add to the quality of the squad. Do they deserve criticism?
If the board come out and say we owed money, if they both come out and say we've been paying out to finance this team above and beyond for you, we're going to get slaughtered. So it didn't get worded like that. I'm kind of reading between the lines, thinking that's maybe what happened. This board came in, and to all intents and purposes, were hero worshipped. I think quite rightly at the time for what looked like saving us from gangsters, and the gangsters had saved us from oblivion. It's a process, mate. It's a process. It's a hard process. It's a brutal process. I think winning 55 and then getting to a European final maybe made us think that's it. We're back. We weren't quite. this. I think every stage. I keep saying this. Every stage we've get back to normality since 2012. It's been brutal. There's been an embarrassment. This is an embarrassing kind of. On paper, this is embarrassing for Rangers. This finishing with no points and the goal difference we have. But I'm not going to get rid of the board just now. In my mind, they deserve another chance. They were set up to get us back to 55.
Yeah.
They maybe can't handle it, but I think we're getting the club to a stage where just being in the Champions League group stages, having got to a Europa League final, and the coverage we got for BT, having won the league title again. But maybe they've got one more stage to go, which might be the board selling us to somebody else. They've got it ready to be sold one more time, and the manager maybe needs to get upgraded maybe next season or whatever. But I'm not ready to get rid of either of them just now.
Yeah. Okay,
sorry folks, I know that annoy a few folk, but
don't know if you can hear this, but we're at the back of the room and something's going on inside the ground, by the way. You hear this? There's some serious stramash going. Maybe Gio's went for it, I don't know.
Maybe he's finally flipped, you know what I mean? That guidance counsellor, I thought it's just going out the window.
Some seriously raised voices coming from just in the corner between the Broomlin and the club deck there, so who knows. Anyway, yeah, so that's us. Board happy to keep players.
I would maybe remove the word happy. We're just going to. We're not going to. It's not. We're going to limit the anger just now.
Yeah.
We're not trying to say for a second, guys, that we're happy with this. You know what I mean? It's not. It's just not what Rangers are used to. But I think it's another occasion we have to suck it up a wee bit, and then we'll go to
take our medicine.
We'll take our medicine. See what happens. Doesn't it get any better?
Well, another way of putting it, let's take the money and run and try and rebuild and come again next season. Okay, that'll do us for tonight. Obviously there'll be a show on Friday night, a preview show for the St Johnstone game, back in Sunday. The rota isn't out yet, so I don't know who's doing what. Well, I'm getting told by George Lucas I need to come in again, sorry. So yeah, we'll be back on Friday, doing the preview show, and I'm losing my shit altogether here.
It's been that kind of night.
It's been that kind of night.
We're overrun.
And the flagship show will be back on Sunday at 9:30. So until then, bye for now.
Okay.